Live now for the Evil DM Hangouts. I am DM Vince sitting alongside DM Matt,
Hello, everyone.
and we're missing a few people tonight, as you can see. And that's because Nick had some family issues he had to take care of, and Jeff had some personal issues. So Matt and I kind of scrambled to get something together tonight because the other topic needed a little bit more input than just the two of us, we felt. So we decided to pull something out of the old hat and talk a little bit more about phase rip, things that we used to do together for a while
Yeah.
until we stopped doing it.
Yes, we went through a face rip phase.
So to speak. Yeah, but we'll sit here and we'll wait a few minutes while people kind of get to the joining, because we started a few minutes earlier than normal, and we don't want people to miss out on the fun that we're going to have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's always good times here on Friday evenings, talking gaming.
Yeah, hangout gaming, that's what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, long week, right?
Yeah. 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 Yes, because, well, that's a cat, but let's just say I've been working on projects. I was recapping a Game Gear last night. So got it working, but I think the soundboard shot due to the leaky, crappy capacitors Sega decided to use in the 90s. So
Good morning, Cornelius Prax. Good morning.
good good morning.
He's in Vietnam, I believe. That's why it's morning time.
Oh,
Yeah. So he's just getting here while we're waiting for everybody to show up. I'll just start sharing it out a little bit. Let me get to the live stream dashboard. And I can share it that way. Let me see. Grab link. Get shareable link. Perfect. And we can tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about phase rip and some of the stuff going on, some Kickstarter we found, and that stuff. Throw it up on Facebook. Blech.
yeah. Yeah, it's like the only time I'm on Facebook is if I'm in the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast group.
Yeah, I'm on there, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. It's like pretty much I'm just there to see talk to other collectors in that little private group that you have to be actually pay to be in. You have to
On
be a part of their Patreon. So it does really good about weeding out bad people. And it also they're not above if someone goes in and decides to be a douche, they just give them the old boot whether they're paying or not. So
if you stop paying, do they just does someone actually go in and boot you out?
yeah, because it's a part of it's a Patreon perk.
How many
So
people are in that group?
I know the Patreon has over 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like some AEW wrestlers are in there. And like because like Ethan Page, Danhausen, Hornswoggle's in there. Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins. If you haven't followed their indie careers, some other
Is, but I was just that's why I was just like, so
yeah. It's actually they're Cardona and Myers are the and Smart Mark Sterling from AEW. They're the ones that created the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. And it's their Patreon group. And out of that podcast they started like 4 years ago, they started a Bendy's line of figures. So and that group, if you have wrestling stuff you want to dump, is a great place to find people that'll buy it, or if you want to buy like things, it's a great way to suck all your money because yeah, I've bought so much bullshit because of that damn group.
I might want to get in that group.
Yeah. They call the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast the most expensive free podcast in the universe because even if you just listen to the podcast and don't get in on the Patreon, you still end up buying so much more shit. Because I really wasn't collecting current wrestling figures. Now I have a shit ton. And it's all that group's fault.
I would love to get a hold of the Seth Rollins NXT figure.
Someone actually posted a bunch of NXT figures, but I don't think Seth was in that group.
I don't know if he had his own individual one. I'm pretty sure there was a Shield one from NXT.
The Shield wasn't NXT though.
I thought
That was main roster.
I thought he was. I thought the Shield was an NXT group.
No, the individuals were, but they weren't a group in NXT. But they did make a Shield 3-pack.
That's I know. I know my wife wants the. She wants the NXT version of him that was out long ago, but it's hard to find it now. And I saw it. We saw it one year at Hogan's Beach Shop when we went down there to Florida in Orlando, and we didn't buy it because it was like $60.
Yeah. If I see one, I'll let you know in that group because people are just throwing stuff up random all the time.
Hey, Captain Frost is here, of course. I spelled his name wrong. Whoops. Well, you get the idea. He heard about FASERIP, so he came running in.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know because my wife would appreciate that. She wants the NXT Seth Rollins for her various collections of Seth Rollins on the wall. Oh, 30 plus of them.
Yeah. The only one I've got is the one that came with the red gear that came with the tag team belt when him and Ambrose were tag champs. I've got that one. And then I've got the Ambrose that goes with it.
Yeah, I have that one. I had the one with the Miz, had the one with Drew McIntyre. There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
I think there's one with Kevin Owens they made.
Oh yeah. He's got a ton of figs. Yeah, and he's also got a few of the cards in that Legends of Wrestling we were talking about before the show too. Because he's in that.
Cornelius Prax in Evansville, Indiana, the Roju brother. I can never pronounce that name.
The Roge. Now I can't say it.
Yeah,
the fabulous Rougeau brothers.
Yeah, brothers called me into the ring. Oh, that must have been awesome.
Jacques and Raymond. Were they babyface or were they all American boys with the really sweet theme music, Rougeau's?
They not the Mounties?
No, that is PCO. And Jacques. Whereas we had Raymond and Jacques prior to that.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've waited long enough, so too bad. If you're not here, we're just going to continue anyway. So first things first, we found in news this week, the only thing I really found that was interesting was that there's a Harn World Kickstarter happening right now, and it's over its goal by what, 500%? Would that be?
Yeah, the goal was 10,000 and it's up to 58,238. So got 520 backers, and there's still like 17 days to go. So they're not even halfway through the pledge and like blowing away it.
Founded in 1972 under the name Gamma 2 Games, Columbia Games has been publishing games for over 50 years and won several awards.
Yeah.
That's when they last logged in, so you can see that. I thought it'd give me more than just that.
Yeah, but it was like Columbia Games. I'm mostly familiar with like their board games because they do some war games, and me being the grognard that I am, I'm aware of them through like their 1812, and they did a 1770. It's like 1778, I think. Like woodblock war games that are really fun. But they've also been doing RPG as well, and Hardworld is one of those that's been around forever.
Well,
and actually, don't mind me with my war games. I was confusing Columbia with Academy. So, but they do make block war games. But yeah, with this, I mean, they're doing hardbacks, and the thing with Hardworld is they always had the really sweet maps with it. That's, I think, when I've seen their products out, it was like the maps are always like really nice. But yeah, you can go in right now and get like tons of copies of like the base game and they several other expansions, and along with like that a big 22 by 34 physical map. So
Hmm.
and it's like something I've known of, but I've never played either. It's just
Yeah,
never
I've never
been in my
played
circle.
Hardcore either, but I know a lot of people have always talked about it, and the fact that you're doing something new with it again is kind of interesting as well.
Yeah.
It's not
It
and
never
it's not a small book, 250 pages with detailed content. It's gonna be hell of a
Yeah, because it n never really went out of print. It's always been there. It's just never got that super more mainstream appeal to it, but it's has enough of a following, and it's just like that little engine that could that's just there and putting out a game in a setting, and it's like should probably actually like look at this at some point and
watch
actually
like the best game in the world.
yeah. I mean, because there's just if you think about when this was came out, so we're going 40 years ago. So this is like 1983. So we're talking well into first edition AD&D when this was
Yeah,
initially
pretty much.
released. So, and that's kind of why it would kind of get overlooked when with the nostalgia from that time period. But it's unlike AD&D, it didn't die. It's managed to stay around and keep that long term, kind of like Tunnels and Trolls and some of the other games from that era that
What's that one game
just
that we reviewed that was that odd? It was kind of a fantasy game. Oh, I can't think of it. It's been going on
oh
for years.
Talismantium.
That's it. That game just keeps evolving. It's the same game, and it just keeps new additions, and they just keep adding to it, and it's just the same game. So
Yeah. Yeah, so I would equate Harn World to something like that. It's one of those that is still around and it's a survivor, and the it is more of just on me as a gamer just somehow n- not having it fall into my Venn diagram of games.
hmm. Look at when we say detailed maps, they're talking detailed maps. Look at these maps.
Yeah, because I've walked past their booth at Gen Con and you see the maps and you're like, what? It's like, yeah, when they say detailed, they do mean detailed. And like their overworld maps are really good too.
Are you going to Gen Con this year again?
I don't know. It's up in the air. I'm considering it. I'm trying to work out my convention schedule. I think the only thing I'm probably for sure doing is going to Philadelphia in June for Too Many Games, but that's a retro video game convention. Because
We have
Gen
a
Con,
we have a big video game museum here in Fort Worth. You should come visit.
oh yeah,
The retro video game museum has all the games from the beginning up until now, and it's pretty cool.
nice, yeah. Because right now I'm just kind of trying to plot out my schedule. Because last year I did the Midwest Gaming Classic in Milwaukee, and skipping it this year because they moved it like a month earlier, so that it falls too close to another trip I'm taking.
Yeah.
And that because me and my group in April have our yearly rent a cabin and play games all weekend scheduled, and it's only a couple weeks prior to that would be the Milwaukee one. So it's just like, nah, I'll skip that this year. And then Too Many Games is in June. So that leaves like August, September-ish for more cons. So because even with Gen Con, I could always just go up for one day and hit the hall if I don't feel like staying the entire time, because it's like kind of expensive now to get a badge. It's like I think like $140 for a
Holy
4-day badge. Yeah. It's I mean, fortunately, I don't have to play the hotel game and I can just room with a friend who lives in Indianapolis. But it's like that, and it's like, what am I looking to get out of it? Because it's not as much of the stuff that I'm looking for anymore. It would be more just to see kind of what's new that I've missed since I didn't go last year,
yeah.
but I can do that in a day. And so, and then I might hit Origins for like go up on the weekend and just go up on like Sunday, walk the hall there too, since it's only 90 minutes north from my house.
Oh yeah, if
So
it's that close, you might as well just go.
yeah, in Origins is like Sunday's like $20 or $25. So okay, go there, walk the hall, buy some stuff.
Spend $400.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Well, you could still pledge for the Harn World Kickstarter right now if you're interested in that, and the link we'll put it in the show notes below, but I'll throw it here in the actual feed so people can see it as well. If they wanted to do that. It looks like it's a pretty good put together Kickstarter, and I have no problem with it at all. I mean, they'll probably get probably more than that with 17 days to go. So hopefully they will. I hope they get to 100,000. That'd be nice to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Speaking
I
of,
mean it
oh yeah,
at the
go on.
pace they're going, they should probably hit it. I mean, they're doing really good.
Yeah. Well, speaking of conventions, are you going to go to TSR Con too?
Nope.
It's March 24th to March 26th.
Yeah, that the weekend before that, I'm going to the
Gary?
Louisville Gaming Expo. Uh and then yeah. So it basically for the same reason I'm skipping Milwaukee. If I was going to Milwaukee for the Midwest Gaming Classic, that it wouldn't be that much farther to go to Lake Geneva.
But isn't that when Gary Con is?
Yeah, let's just say TSR Con typically has been a running opposite Gary Con because reasons.
Well, I mean, I get why you would want to piggyback off of Gary Con because everyone's going to be in town and want you to come over here. Uh, so it's a free for all event. So, well, admission is not free. Okay, I see now.
Yeah.
It's a free
So
for all gaming event, but the admission is not free. Oh, okay. Damn. Okay.
yeah.
I don't know. I would like to go see the museum and just see what it looks like because I was always
Yeah.
interested in that. But if you're
Yeah.
in the area, you might as well go over there and take a look at it, see what happens. I heard they're giving away some. I can't find it, but I could have sworn when I clicked on this link, there was something like this award, but then there was like a ring or something that they were giving away too. But I can't find that anymore. I saw some people sharing it on Twitter. That's why I grabbed the link as we were talking about conventions, and I'm just like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny just like seeing that front of the horticultural hall
yeah.
is at when I went to Gen Con a few years ago, they actually made a replica of that entryway
Oh,
and
really?
put it in Lucas Oil Stadium
Hmm.
to and you walk through it to go to their Dungeons and Dragons museum they had created because they had Gen Con borrowed a bunch of stuff from a bunch of high-end collectors and had like original draft manuscripts and different pieces and set up a whole museum display you could walk around that was in the same square footage footprint of that hall.
Yeah, here. See, it says the ring of Lake Geneva or GM. That's I knew there was some type of like skull ring with like a crown or
Oh.
yeah, I don't
Huh.
know what happened to it because I saw the pictures with it. It had this, but the skull ring was not. It was like I thought it was on this page, and maybe they took it down because they couldn't give it away, or
Or maybe they didn't get it in time.
I guess so. I don't know, but it still says
Yeah.
the ring there. So TSR, you need to fix that. Then
Yeah.
Justin, get on top of that, man. But anyway, let's I guess head into our main topic of the night. So let me just get right here and get to the screen share that we're going to be looking at here. And we'll talk about some Marvel Phase Rip tonight. Let's see, where is that share? There it is. We're going to be talking about Kang the Conqueror,
King.
who recently was just made an appearance in the new Ant-Man and Wasp, something of the Quanta, whatever the hell you call it. I just saw it too, which is funny.
Insert marketing subtitle here.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Ant-Man, the Wasp, Quantumania, which I thought was actually a pretty decent movie. I know a lot of people had problems with it, said it was stupid or it's the worst movie since Eternals. I think that was the movie they quoted. So, which was the worst Marvel movie they ever made. I don't see that. This movie was actually kind of fun. lighthearted, entertaining. They had a lot of jokes in it. I really liked the actor who played Kang. He kind of played him as a sorrowful, remorseful villain. Like he didn't want to do what he was doing, but he had to do it type deal. And you could see it and feel the pain of all of it. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I don't know why people didn't enjoy that movie, but you know how people are, right?
Yeah, basically everything sucks if you read according to the internet.
They try to zoom in here on the get to the page. Like, why is it 2 pages?
Because you need the next page because it's the way it's split. So yeah.
There we go. So this is Kang the Conqueror. He basically doesn't really have that great of stats, to be honest.
No, because his whole thing is time travel and his armor and his power. That and his like blaster gauntlets. That's where, and you'll notice in his reason, intuition, and psyche that they're split stats because
yeah, you're right.
that is to represent the Kang variants because there's a infinite number of Kangs for each timeline he's created. Because every time he creates a time paradox, poof, new Kang.
All right, first of all,
So
I want to say, what was he thinking with those boots in that color? I mean, come on.
it was well, with him it was the 60s.
Yeah, that's true.
Or 70s. So he was that was the vibe. It was a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you saw him, you'd be like, that's a bad dude. I don't want to be around him.
I mean, I guess. Thigh-high boots that are pink and striped, or is that salmon? I don't know what color that is. It looks like pink to me.
Well, if you go by the Secret Wars toy, purple.
Yeah, they did purple in the movie, which looked a lot better.
Yeah, it's purple and green is what the toy was, because that was my first exposure as a child to Kang, was the Secret Wars toys. I didn't even know who he was, but I'm like, oh, it's Kang. I have his toy. My superheroes will now fight.
Yeah, elf bait. That's how they all dressed back then. I know. It's just funny. What is he thinking with that outfit?
That's our next episode. All we do is we sit and judge old comic fashion.
Yes, that's going to be the next topic next week. Comic fashion and you.
Yes.
So he's known for. I don't really know much about this character at all because I'm obviously not that much of a Marvel reader, but it's Pimptastic. I like that one. Yeah. I'll show that one on the screen because Pimptastic.
Yeah.
Good old elf.
It's a definite vibe. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because he existed in a time of peace and everything was happy and perfect, and he was like, I'm bored. So what am I going to do? I'm going to hop in my time machine and screw shit up.
But in the movie, I don't know how much they followed his actual backstory. The movie, he said he was kicked out of his own society and banished to the quantum verse. I don't know if any of that follows any of his stories or not. It was one of the timelines they decided to make up.
Well, there's so many different alternate timelines of Kang, you could easily say it's one. I mean, that's the thing with Kang. He can be whatever you want him to be, just a different timeline. That's all. It's the whole 616 and all the other Marvel numbered universes to the extreme.
Because that they wound up getting rid of.
Yes, but now we're bringing them back.
Yeah, the MCU is basically. I was just wondering, Elf, it did its own thing. I just wondered how closely they followed his story. So it becomes a project. It becomes a ripoff of Project Rooftop. Okay. Some Kangs have remote time control circuitry in their armor, allowing them to use the time ship's machinery without actually being aboard. Jeez, okay.
Yeah. I mean, and therein lies Kang's power. He time travels. So if you want to fight him and thwart his plan, you will be doing time travel. It was like there was the whole series of modules, the MT series.
So this is
that
like
were
what?
all Kang based.
Is this like Vandal Savage for DC or?
Kinda. I mean, yeah. I mean, basically, he's like a Doctor Who villain. I mean, if we're honest, he's creating time paradoxes to suit his own needs, and your job is to go stop him.
Hmm.
You could easily chase after him in a blue police box.
I don't know. He just reminds me of a Kang type person trying to take over the world through different universes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, instead of universe, it's timelines. It just depends on how you want to divvy up your different universes, timelines, etc.
Well, he has no additional notes, which I find odd. But he has role playing notes.
Yeah.
Is that a scan thing, or is your
No, that's actually in the original. I think that's also for the player to be able to write in, because other characters do not have that, because again, well, some of them do, others don't. Because as I'm just flipping through my book, some of them will have it, others won't, and I think it's more for one. I really think it's just so you could write in your own notes,
I see. Okay.
because I'm not seeing like I'm seeing the only time I see additional note section is it's blank.
Oh, Elf is saying it's because of the judge to write in notes of his own, pretty much.
Yep.
Hmm. I never knew that. I never wrote in any of my books, so I never knew that.
Yeah, that would be considered painful.
Think of him as anti Doctor Who.
Yeah, he could be
Okay.
like the master.
Hmm. Yeah, I never wrote in any of my books. I hated marks in my books. I hate when
Oh yeah.
or I buy a
Uh,
book from like half price books and you see like someone wrote in the book, they little check marks on it, and
yeah.
it's just like, stop, don't,
No,
why?
I mean, well, there was the one time I bought what I thought was going to be a AD&D DM screen for like $3 at half price. Got it home. Nope, it was actually full of someone's campaign notes. That's all it was, in a DM screen cover. It was like sealed up in their collectible section. I'm like, for $3, whatever. But it was funny just buying someone's campaign with maps and notes and characters. It was like, huh, for $3, it's
That's almost
interesting.
as great as when I bought the Indiana Jones game for TSR. I finally got a copy of that, and in there was a couple character sheets, and one of them was the Predator. I'm like, really? Someone statted up the Predator for Indiana Jones universe?
Hey, why not?
I guess, yeah.
Indy ain't got time to bleed.
No, that's definitely true. Yeah, you can make, even Captain Frost is saying you can make GM notes for your campaign in there. Anyway, they do have pretty good role playing notes, which is always helpful in most of the games. He's a merciless villain driven to one goal: conquest of all that is.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
was once one of
Motivated by the love of his life turning on him.
Yeah.
So he has a broken heart and travels through time to bend reality to his knee. So, I mean, there's a lot you could do with him. If you have a Marvel game and just want to get your characters out of like the city and into some other wacky environment, Kang's your guy.
Yeah.
He could the people you don't even have to have your characters fight Kang if they're not of a power level to do it. You could throw street levels into dealing with some henchmen of Kang who get sucked into some time vortex or whatever. And next thing you know, instead of fighting mobsters in the 80s, you're now fighting mobsters in the 20s or whatever, or wherever you want to take them. Like in that MT series, you were in World War II, the Wild Wild West, and then you also fought some dinosaurs because they created a time disturbance. So dinosaurs appeared in the Wild Wild West.
Like Will Smith, Wild Wild West, or
Yeah, pretty much actually. I mean, just look at this cover. Dinosaur cowboys.
put it back up so we can see it again. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is there a giant spider mechanism fly?
could be. Let's see. Texas Twister. Now that's a cowboy hero. But yeah. Ghost Rider 1 and 2 looking kind of like every generic 80s superhero. with
Yeah.
a hat. He could be Moon Knight with new hat.
He does look like Moon Knight, actually. You're right.
Yeah. So, oh, oh yeah, and this one has event cards for different time periods you could end up in.
Huh. Signing of the Magna Carta. Wow. Okay.
Right. So where are we going? But yeah, you can do all kinds of just wacky, especially if you say Kang has created some like time vortexes where all of a sudden times are merging and things are happening out of sequence, and next thing you know, I'm actually starting to discuss the plot of the video game Bayonetta, where like all the various times streams start merging together. But because all time travel stories end up with the same themes.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So I don't know about using Kang as like for a long-term campaign, just because you run into a lot having to deal with those paradoxes that exist in every time travel story. If you can work those out to where you don't paradox yourself into just absurdity, unless that's what you're going for, I think he's better suited for like a pop in, make an appearance, do some timey-wimey. Now back to our regular show.
I mean, you could do it. I mean, if he's like a Vandal Savage type person, which basically he kind of is in a sense. I ran a DC campaign with Vandal Savage as the villain, just jumping through different time frames and different universes, and people had to chase after him, kind of like an episode of Sliders towards the end with the bad guy, the Colonel guy that they kept chasing the entire time. I think it was season 4, and they just kept chasing him through different multiverses until they finally got up with him, and then they just dropped the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it would the time travel would have to be the overriding theme of your campaign to use Kang. Going because he's not just going to hang around in one timeline. Because as soon as you start cornering him and thwarting his plan, poof, new timeline, and you have to be able to go after him and chase him somehow. Because otherwise, he'll just go to another timeline and try to do what it before you stopped him the first time. Create some paradox, and next thing you know, you have 10 more Kangs running around.
If you want absurd things, Kang can pull options from anywhere in 30 millennia.
Yeah, I mean that, and then there's the whole he in one of the Kangs is the Nathaniel Richards, the son of the Fantastic Four, Sue and Reed. So that's a thing too. So I mean, there's a lot of different directions.
Oh, I
It's
didn't even put 2 and 2 together with the last name that could be even possible. So, hmm. Nathaniel Richards, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, because he is Kang the Conqueror. Like because he has conquered everything at one point, but he got thwarted by the Avengers and turned his wife against them, and so that's why he hates the Avengers.
Oh, okay. So they did mention that in the movie how he killed one of the Avengers. So I guess in one of the alternate timelines he kills Thor because he said he fought the one with the hammer and he lost. So the Red Caps is here. Welcome, Red Caps.
Yep.
The Red Caps podcast. You still doing the Red Caps podcast? I haven't checked that out in a while. I apologize.
Yeah, you're right. Kang is a good villain just to mix it up. He's going if especially if you're just kind of lost for like you're just kind of in a grind. Yeah, Kang, you could just do something completely off the wall wacky by introducing Kang.
So he has his basically his talents are repair and tinkering and engineering. So you can basically repair.
Yeah. The last thing you want is to have a broken time ship. So yeah, he needs to be able to fix that.
When you need to mix it up in your game, the normal superhero grind getting you poof, cybernetic mammoth with android cave.
Yeah, exactly. That is Kang. But it can be whatever you want. You want so there's a lot of options, and it just depends on what type of story you want to tell, because he's not going to fit in long term with certain superheroes, but you could have them pop in and cause some wacky just to mix it up.
Cool. I I imagine that one of them when he jumps in the timeline and goes back to like ancient Egypt, and the players have to follow him back that way,
Yeah.
and he goes to
Or
kill like, Cleopatra or something like that because it's going to set off some type of weird event that could, he could see himself taking over the
oh,
world.
or like some of the players noticed that instead of like on the hieroglyphics, instead of Ra, it's Kang. And that's the tip. Oh shit, he's doing something in ancient Egypt. We need to get their stat.
Yeah, you see him. He's now in the books listed as one of the gods of Egypt, and you're like, wait, what?
What? No. Yeah, so there's all sort. Yeah, so it's that type of stuff that you could throw in there to be like, oh, especially if they're of like Avengers level and dealing with that type of threat level. Which is actually that would almost be a Doctor Who thing too. So okay, here's what you go. Watch Doctor Who, steal plots. Kang.
So yeah. With the upcoming movies are you most excited about in the Marvel lineup? For me, it's got to be Fantastic Four and Deadpool. Deadpool, Red Caps, definitely Deadpool. I'm interested to see how that's going to work out, and I love the story of how Ryan Reynolds roped Hugh Jackman back into playing Wolverine one more time.
Yeah. Yeah. Deadpool's more of a passion project for Ryan Reynolds at this point. And I think that's what makes him fun is because the person that's really pushing for it is the lead actor and he wants to make sure it's fun. And if
Well,
he's
yeah.
enjoying it as a fan, other fans will probably enjoy it too, as opposed to assembly relying grind them out like some of the Marvel movies. It feels more like at times they're just doing stuff to fill check boxes than they are actually, oh, we got an interesting story to tell.
Oh yeah, Elf actually makes another good point about Kang here as well. It's a great way to let your players swap out a character or play a variant on their character. Kang changed history. Hmm.
Yeah,
That might be a good way to introduce a new version of your character if you're not happy with it or you just not having fun. There you go.
right. Or it in Kang creates the paradox, so you come across your other version of your character and then you start interacting with them, and then when things get fixed and the timelines merge back, you have to pick one. Which one lives and which one goes poof.
Hmm. That's an interesting. Yeah. Which one? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like when the timelines split and then the timelines merge back, not everyone lives.
Hmm. I don't know. I find him an interesting character, and after seeing the Ant-Man movie, I was just like, wow, this guy's a pretty interesting character. I mean, the way the actor played him was really well, so that made me think of him tonight when we were doing that, and then of course Modoc, which no, they just made Modoc look really dumb in the movie. I don't know if he's supposed to be dumb in the comics because I don't remember reading him in the comics.
Mhm.
I remember hearing of him,
Yeah.
but they just made it into a big giant joke. So I'll let the people in the chat determine was Modoc a joke pretty much in Marvel Comics. I mean, we'll see what they have to say when they answer that one in
Yeah.
30 seconds from now. Because of a stupid delay, YouTube decided to put on everything.
Yeah.
Is a raving lunatic in the comics, and yes, kinda.
Yeah. Because I mean, Modoc was a machine only designed for killing, so I mean, I guess that kind of would have to make him slightly insane.
They made a joke out of that too. Isn't it more like a Modoff?
Yes.
Of course, that's the Paul Rudd line, so
Of course.
that's what makes it funny. But they just kind of made him really goofy looking in the movie, and
Okay, that looks more like a face you would see out of a Monty Python with like the big oversized heads, or like Attack on Titan.
yeah, pretty much. So it was a weak movie for you, Red Caps. I thought it was a pretty interesting movie. I liked how the actor portrayed Kang the Conqueror. I mean, I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. So that looks like Spy Kids. I mean, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They just basically made him into a big joke, and I vaguely remember people talking about him during the time way back when. People were like, "Oh, yeah, Modoc, Modoc, Modoc," and they just made him into a big joke in the movie. So it's like I thought Modoc was supposed to be like a badass, lunatic, like Elf is saying, but I guess not. So, oh, he was made into an assassin tool, but took over AIM. Didn't you mention that before the show, Matt?
Yeah, because it was George Tarkleton underwent like eugenic testing and basically mutated and became Modoc, became highly intelligent, but it also made him a giant head. Hence why he's in that suit. That's the only way he can get around, because his little tiny legs, he can't walk.
His baby legs, yeah.
Yes, his little baby legs and T-Rex arms. So he's a big giant floaty head only designed for killing. Yeah, because
Yeah.
AIM was more of the terrorist organization, not that got overtaken by Modoc.
Yeah.
Not...
No, this is not the Modoc you were waiting for or wanting, or the Modoc you deserve either. So
no, this would be more like Deadpool and Wolverine Origins.
Yeah.
Deadpool shooting laser beams out of his
like
eyes.
when he first came out, I was just like, oh, it's Modoc. And, they had like the faceplate, which you can kind of see right over here. I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can bring that up. No, they don't even have. Why is the small picture there? But that is so dumb. The thumbnail is like that, but the rest of them is not. Oh, no, that's not it. No. Well, whoever did this article is dumb. They didn't.
It's a wiki.
Well,
what do you expect?
Yeah. Well, anyway, they had the badass face with the teeth and everything like that, and then they were just like, "You know me," and he's just like, he flips open, he starts talking in his normal voice, and they're like, "Darren," and he flips open, there's the big head. I'm like, come on, don't make it into a joke. But of course they did, because that's the theme that they're going for with Ant-Man. So it's just everything's a joke. I don't know. I mean, I think Red Caps was saying that the Ant-Man and the Wasp really was not in the movie. I mean, they were in the majority of the movie. It was more about finding out, I guess, about Kang, his backstory, and what they're setting up for, and apparently his father and girlfriend, so to speak, or wife, I guess it is. Origins shot. Come on, Captain Frost. It's not that bad.
It was okay. And then Deadpool happened.
Deadpool? Which Deadpool? The Deadpool from X-Men, or
no, Deadpool from Wolverine?
The really bad Ryan Reynolds Deadpool?
Yes, the laser beams.
Yeah.
That.
I don't think it's as bad as Love and Thunder, so
haven't seen Love and Thunder yet. I might when I buy the Blu-ray at Half Price Books for $2 when it hits the clearance, because that's my current thing, is buying the Marvel movies for $2 clearance Blu-rays. I have quite the collection now.
What, Half Price Books? You go there and just buy the clearance?
Yeah, I just go to the clearance Blu-rays and like, oh, I don't have that Marvel movie. Maybe one day I'll watch it. I also have a nice Disney collection that way too. So all you people paying for streaming, when they take away your movies, I'll still have physical media.
She-Hulk series was exactly like the comics. I don't know. I was never into She-Hulk,
Yeah.
so I have no idea.
Yeah, She-Hulk was always more like haha comic. It wasn't like a straight superhero thing. It was meant to be humorous. So
I don't know. I just remember people complaining about the twerking scene and everything like that. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, okay. I didn't watch it to begin with, so I didn't care.
She-Hulk would probably twerk if She-Hulk was written now. So it was just people not knowing the source material commenting on it.
I think it was just a simple fact that it was a twerking thing, and it's ridiculous to begin with. So
yeah.
That
just wait till we get like the Hulk twerking in the next Avengers movie. They'll have a twerk off. She-Hulk and Hulk.
No.
It could. It could happen.
I don't want.
I'm all for just absurd things that just make me laugh at this point. I don't
Yeah.
even want to.
When I go to see the Marvel movies like Spider-Man, I go just because I want to enjoy something comic book related. I know it's not going to follow. Okay, I guess we're starting a big debate in chat now. She-Hulk was like that. She-Hulk was not like that. So, I love to see all this. It's fun. Uh, yeah, I just go now at this point just to see them, just for the fun of it. I mean, I stopped really watching them after the Thanos one. That was probably Endgame, not Endgame, the one before Endgame.
Oh, Infinity War. I haven't even seen those. I mean, once they announce the story, I know how it goes. I've read the comics.
We read the comics, yeah. I
I'm
read the
like,
Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity Wars, and everything like that that
yeah.
they came out
I'm
with.
like, oh, I know where this goes. He's going to wipe out half the universe, and they're all going to get better. They're not killing anyone off in the first part of that. They're all coming back.
No.
Too much, yeah. So it's just like, because it kind of hit the point where Marvel was more about the quick, just getting your little quips in and sound bites, and almost it might, in some cases, it might be better to watch the movie in clips as opposed to sitting through the entire thing, because
I
that
don't know.
it's
That's why I didn't see Endgame, because it was like 3 hours and 10 minutes, and I was just like, ugh, I don't really want to sit through that in the movie theater. But though I did sit through the Justice League Zack Snyder cut, which I found that actually really good. So
okay.
that
I
was a
mean,
little
I sat through Gone with the Wind in the movie theater, and that actually had an intermission in it.
oof.
It was my ex-wife wanted to see it, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the movie's actually not bad. I kind of enjoyed the golden age of Hollywood. There's a certain charm to it.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, She-Hulk was or was not exactly like the comics. Who knows? Let the viewer decide. That's up to you.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Marvel stuff kind of stinks, but whatever. They're just trying to entertain people. So watch it. Don't watch it.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of hit assembly line. It's like they're just grinding them out so quickly. It's so because they've got
At least it's
schedules.
not as bad as the new start to Picard.
I did not see that, so.
I watched the first episode because I watched the other two seasons. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just continue watching since this is the last season of the show. And I'm just like, okay, this was a nostalgic money grab, this first episode. So and that's where I left it. I haven't watched episode 2 yet
Yeah.
because they just look. It just reminds me of Star Trek: The Old Generation because they're all so old now. And Patrick Stewart, while I love him and I enjoyed him as Picard, it's like the dude is struggling to say his lines.
Oh.
Well, I think that's like what 90. I mean,
Yeah. It's like watching Ric Flair's last match. Picard's last ship.
yeah. But I mean, it's funny because Shatner is what 93 or 4, and that dude is still on the ball. I went to go see him with Wrath of Khan, the live show for the anniversary,
Yeah.
or whatever 70th anniversary, whatever it is. And that dude for 90 minutes on the stage, nonstop bouncing around. He sat down once in a while, but nonstop chatter. I'm like, damn, I wish I could do that at this age.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
this now? Okay.
Yeah, because Shatner's 91, so he's 9 years older than Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. And it's like having James Earl Jones voice Vader so late in life, you can hear it in his voice. Yeah, exactly. Good point. And Picard, Patrick Stewart, you could hear that he's old, and just listening to him talk is just making me like go, you struggle to talk, my friend. You need to just say no. I don't need the money anymore.
You can just deep fake me. Just send me a royalty check.
Yeah, really. I mean, they're doing with Bruce Willis apparently going forward, so why not with Patrick Stewart?
Yeah. Because then at that point, who needs new actors?
It's gonna become everything's gonna be AI. You know that.
Yeah. Well, that's why you go to live theater. You ain't AI. Then at that point, you're going to have to get some really good holograms.
Might be interesting.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, yeah, bad AI is AI would be another thing that Kang would mess with. He would be the you go to Chat GP and everything revolves around how great Kang is. Every answer.
Mhm.
He would do that. And with his tech background, he could easily do it.
What change ChatGTP?
Yeah, he would. He absolutely would. Oh, and live theater will be overtaken by androids. Uh, so what you're telling me is Chuck E. Cheese will be considered like the Bronze Age of the next generation of theater.
Animatronics will be the Bronze Age.
Yes, the Rockafire explosion in Chuck E. Cheese's band, and the Hall of Presidents at Disney World.
Oh yeah, the Michael Dorn pitch for the TV series that they were supposed to do. They didn't want to,
Yeah.
but instead they made Worf want to do a pacifist or something weird like that in the Star Trek universe. When he played Xavier and Logan, you could see, yeah, yeah. Even when he played Xavier and Logan, the movie, which I kind of enjoyed that movie. It was pretty cool, but I was like, this dude's getting way too old to be acting. I mean, he's a great guy. Sir Patrick Stewart has a long list of accomplishments, and we've enjoyed him in everything possible, but he's too old.
Yeah.
Too damn old. And I was telling my wife that we were watching it, and she's like, after we watched the first episode, she's just like, "So, what'd you think?" I'm like, she's like, "It was slow." I'm like, "It was kind of boring." And she's like, "Yeah, I figured if I found it slow, you must have found it horribly boring." I was like, "Yeah, I did." I mean, just the characters are they're bringing back all the next generation characters. This Dr. Crusher's like so old, she looks like skin over bones at this point. She really is. Oh, that's right. Jordy used Chat GPT to create Moriarty. Yeah, he did. You're right. So stupid. So we're teaching. We're basically, with Chat GTP, all these people using it. We're basically forming the foundation for Skynet. You know that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Fortunately, I think we are old enough that by the time Skynet is it, we'll already be deceased. So we're cool. So who cares?
Just trying to save a dying show.
Yeah. They're trying to get that nostalgia pop. They can't wheel out the original cast anymore because of so got to do the next generation.
They're this is the last season, so they're just going to go out on a really big bang and bring back everything that everybody wants to see. But they're all so friggin' old. And, I think Michael Dorn is probably the youngest one out of all of them at this point.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
Well,
out of the
Lefevre
main ones.
might be pretty young too. He's not
Yeah,
that.
they're all around the same. I don't think they're too far apart. Um, yeah. Yeah, Hollywood has no creativity anymore. It's just like everyone wants the hit. No one, there is no like, it has to, everything has to be like AAA now. There is no like A level movie or B level movie. But not like B isn't the cheesy B, just, hey, we know this isn't going to be a blockbuster, but that's okay. That doesn't exist anymore because of the way we consume media. Basically, everyone switching to streaming has ruined Hollywood because guess what? They don't make as much money off of that as they do you going and buying a physical ticket and then going and buying the Blu-ray and that. It's movies are disposable. And as a result, you get the assembly line disposable movies. Hence why you crank out things with existing licenses that you know already have a built-in audience and they'll just consume it because it's a product they already know. You don't have to introduce a new IP. So it doesn't take much to get into. You go watch it and you don't care about it a year from now. You forget it even exists. That's our movies now.
And I was shaking my pencil because of Elf Bates coming next fall, Wesley Crusher, the series, and no, I do not want to see that ever.
Ugh.
Stand that character. I cannot stand the actor. Remember when the actor was all jumped on the bandwagon for AD&D 1E, and then the fact that I called him out on that and he blocked me for
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, he blocked you, but Jason got him to do a bumper for our show.
Yeah. He didn't want to do it because he didn't like me. I was just like, who the fuck am I compared to what you are? So
Right. He he's moody. I met him. I got him to sign a shake weight. I have a shake weight signed by him and Felicia Day. Uh,
oh, another
I
one I can't stand.
I met them at Origins, and I had a press pass, and both Felicia and Will were supposed to do a press junket. Will canceled his because he needed an afternoon nap. Uh, Felicia did Felicia did hers, but I caught her saying she didn't want to be there long before it even started. Uh, but then when I saw like the question she was being asked, I'm like, yeah, she doesn't want to be here because everyone there was reaching for like almost like affirmation of, oh, do you like the same stuff I like? And I'm like, you're not listening to her answer. She's already answered this question of like, yeah, it was just weird. And I asked her something because this is when the guild was going, and I'm like,
Yeah, I was gonna
when
say it
you,
was that time period. Okay.
yeah, when you get into, if you were to get into entertainment now, since the whole YouTube and that was really new, would you still go the traditional route or would you go YouTube? Yeah, I got a big non-answer out of that. She professionally trained PR actress didn't answer it because she wasn't going to diss it because that's what brought her to this room. But at the same time, she likes really real acting. So if you make her pick, she's probably going to pick the real acting. Also pays better, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean,
So I don't blame her in the least.
why would you bother with YouTube at this point?
Yeah. There's ways to make money in doing it, but the problem is so much of it now is it's about people are getting in to be famous, not make money. So they do really dumb things to be famous, and you're not making any money. So I would rather have large sacks of human money and no one know who I am. It's just a different drive of the mentality. It's
Everyone wants to
very
be a famous
ego
streamer,
driven.
so
Yeah.
everyone wants to stream their D&D game because, Matt Mercer did it. Fanny Reamer, what's up? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, the thing is, and it's like not everyone is trained performers. That's why they're entertaining.
Yeah, I mean,
It,
Critical Role was scripted, so
yeah, it was scripted entertainment with professional actors. Of course, it'll be better than 99.9% of the people doing their stuff at home, and not to mention some of the stuff that goes on in your home game you don't want public.
yeah, that's true. Sometimes you say things you don't want public, and
Yeah, or either that, or it's just the themes that are good for your group aren't meant for public consumption
no, not at all.
because it's inside jokes and just references that play off things your group will get and no one else will. Why would someone else want to watch that?
No, yeah, definitely true. And the one thing that always threw me off about Critical Role was the fact that people would watch that and then come play D&D, and then when the games weren't like that, they're just like, well, this is boring. Matt Mercer does it. It's just like, who gives a shit what Matt Mercer does, dude?
Mm-hmm. Well, that
And
was
I
their
had that
introduction.
happen at a comic book store. We were playing a game. I wasn't running it, but one of the girls there was just like, well, this isn't like how Critical Role does it. It's just like Critical Role's fake. They're all actors hamming it up. Normal games aren't like that. Sure, you'll get some people that are like that, but
Yeah, yeah,
and she
yeah,
left.
yeah. You have to actually go out and hunt those people down to get that type of group, and you're better off actually hanging out at an actual theater.
Yeah, most home games aren't cohesive enough to be good for viewing
Oh,
because,
exactly.
like Matt said, it's inside jokes and it's people sitting around looking at books, and eating chips and then talking about, what they did last night, not paying attention to the DM as he's screaming at everybody.
Yeah, that would be a more accurate representation of most people's games.
Did you ask her about?
I'm trying to remember because this was 2012, so I can't remember where Dr. Horrible fills in that timeline, if it was before or after that. And I've never actually watched it. I just know it exists. The behind the scenes drama is better than the storylines these days. Yeah.
Well, that was weird. A blip in the matrix there for me.
Yeah. Kang just made an alternate timeline that moves Vince to the other side of the stream.
Yeah, he did. I don't know. I guess had a hiccup in the internet. So.
Oh, and Vince goes down again. It's just me at this point. Oh, is he coming back? He's back. So
you mentioned Kang, and he did it again.
Right. So this is the third Vince variant that's been on the show.
Yeah. There we go. I was like, I couldn't hide the chat overlay for a second there because it wasn't there anymore. So. Yeah, their games run by talented, skilled people that are definitely above and beyond many regular games, but they still have some rough edges, yeah. And they also have people directing them, and you could see stage directors them taking cues on certain things and retaking stuff. But I'm not here to bash on Critical Role. That's been bashed many times in the past, but that was the only thing that always bothered me about it. People coming into the game and saying that, Matt Mercer, what's her name? One of the girl, she did this or that. Well, great. Then go talk to her if you can never get her attention.
They do meet and greets. You can get your 5 minutes with them or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just because they had existing fan bases before they started, they drew a different audience than your typical people that were already playing RPGs. So they introduced a lot of new people to RPGs, which is fantastic. But with that came different expectations.
We have been talking about FASERIP. We talked about the game, about Kang himself and his how to play him in a game. So sorry that we're boardroom drama is beating Kang. What? We're just kind of winding down here because this is a ad lib topic that we were doing tonight because the original topic we couldn't do because we lost 2 hosts tonight. So
yeah, that it was Kang. He did things to the timeline that just screwed everything up for this show. Hence why we're on our third Vince.
Mm-hmm. Third Vince here, and still just as annoyed as ever.
Yeah.
Steven, stop awarding karma points to people in chat. What do we have? Speaking of Kang, do we have a write-up of MODOK?
Yeah, MODOK's in there. I will have to get my other binder to get MODOK, the one that fell apart before the show.
Oh, yeah, when you were trying to get everything. He's not in this book. He's in 3, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I'll just grab that so we can talk a little bit behind him. I have behind the scenes of Disney, Restore the Magic. Okay, cool. What the heck is that? That's Matt scouring through his library of joy back there.
I found not MODOK, Modam.
Modam? Who the hell's Modam?
Modam. Although Modam, it looks a lot like MODOK. But okay. Yeah. Although Modam's origin is not yet revealed, it has been alluded that she is Maria Pym, the deceased wife of Dr. Henry Pym. So hence why MODOK was in Antman. Modam. So
weird.
Yep. Yeah. MODOK probably became Modam. Probably became MODOK. Let's see, or MODOK or Modam. Mobile organism designed for aggressive maneuvers, not to be confused with for killing. So we got Modoc and Modam.
Modam.
Damn. Q Ron
No, not Ron Simmons.
Damn.
Let's see. Modoc, page 69. Yeah. We'll get him up here on the screen. We'll talk a little bit about him. There's the good Modoc, not the weird one from
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, it's Hank Pym's Modam is Maria Pym. They got resurrected and mutated into Modam by AIM. It looks very similar to Modoc, not to be confused.
Well, this is Modoc here, so
He must be in one of the expansions.
real name George Tarleton.
Yep.
Not
agent.
Aaron. Do they have Modam in this one? Or is that just one of those?
As I said earlier, since my binder all fell apart and it was the M's that fell out, this Modam is the sheet I found. I didn't see Modoc, but I'm sure it's there, just probably at the other part of the alphabet at this point.
Modam is the first Mrs. Pym before Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh.
Mockingbird. Have to find him. It might be in here. You got that out of that binder, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. Modam's probably in one of the expansions, like the. Oh, I found Modoc. I got Modoc and So Modam.
All right, we'll get to Modoc then.
Yeah. Yeah, so Modam's in one of the other ones, one of the expansions probably. Now I found Modoc.
All right, you got him now? Okay.
Yes.
So he's really poor at fighting. He's really poor at agility.
T-Rex arms. Can't box.
Yeah. But he's got that. I guess he uses his laser systems for everything else, so.
Yeah. And he can multitask because he can use any two psionic powers at the same time. So that's the thing. He can do two things at once.
Force field versus energy. That didn't show that in the movie. Heat power.
Yeah. Kinetic bolts, mental probes, psionic blast.
Yeah, in the movie they just showed him blasting like laser guns, and that was about it, or he was even that, if anything.
He's got that total memory, so he can remember anything he's ever known at amazing ability.
Yeah. Reason 50, amazing, yeah. His intuition is good in 10, and psyche is amazing 50. Health 30. Resources 40.
Yeah.
Popularity 2.
Yeah. I mean, he is a giant head. But, yeah, because his role, if on his notes, it's just like, he has an undying hatred for those that created him. And then he hates all humanity. So he just basically, hence why he is designed for killing. He just is driven by hate.
Who created him? Because in the movie they make it, they say that it was Kang that created him.
It was AIM.
AIM, okay.
Yeah, AIM created him and did the testing on George, which then created him Modoc, and then he proceeded to take over AIM because, yeah, they're like, you may be a monster and I'm now going to kill everything.
His default attribute would be his psyche, yeah.
Yeah.
What is it with Marvel naming everybody Supreme? Like Scientist Supreme, Sorcerer Supreme.
They love alliteration. You can't have alliteration with one word.
I guess not. Yeah.
Hence why we also have acronyms like AIM and Modoc and Modam and acronyms and alliteration. Marvel, the sensational Spider-Man.
And because Stan Lee's characters all started with the first initial, first name, last name, same initial again.
Yeah. Yep. That's that alliteration. Helps you remember. Mnemonic devices.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't see using. I don't. I guess you could use him in one of your campaigns. He's got some pretty good abilities compared to what I saw in the movie. So why not?
Well, you have to remember, MODOK, he's in charge of an organization, AIM. So you're going to be dealing with his minions, their and underlings. You're not dealing with him directly. He's like a kingpin.
Ah,
So think of him that way. So you don't fight him one-on-one. He until the climax when he just starts unleashing like his psychic powers, boom, and it's a big epic conflict.
yeah. I was just gonna say he reminds me of Mojo, and then Steven said that he's more of a mastermind character.
Yeah.
Hmm. He's got a robot body when playing next to his strength. Oh, he actually gets a little bit more when he's okay.
When he
Just
gets his Kang, when he becomes Krang, not Kang.
Krang.
Ninja Turtle Krang. And when
Oh,
he's in the android robot body.
yeah. I was always okay.
Yeah. Because I fought him in the Turtles arcade game when he was in the Krang was in the android. He was the head in the brain in the giant robot android body. I mean, you could
Are
put
they related?
MODOK.
Are they kind of related, or I don't? I always thought they were separate things. I didn't know they were related somehow.
Well, the Krang the brain thing was sitting in the robot body.
Yeah.
So MODOK has his little thing. You can also put him in a giant android. Imagine MODOK if he got put into a Sentinel,
Hmm.
and he in all or some other elaborate thing like that. He's got the reason to build one. So if he grew tired of just sitting in his little thing with his little T-Rex arms and actually made him like the robo exoskeleton, next thing you know, not only is he designed for killing with his brain, he can now kill with his fist. So I'm surprised something like that hasn't happened in like a cartoon, because he would be like a perfect cartoon villain.
I'm sure it probably has. We haven't realized it because there's a ton of Marvel cartoons out there, or even Turtle cartoons at this point
Yes.
that it could
Well,
happen.
no, Turtles did the crossover with DC. Batman versus
Oh,
Ninja
that's right.
Turtles.
Yeah, Batman versus Ninja Turtles. They went to the DC universe as opposed to
Yep. And Batman proceeded to beat all the Ninja Turtles at once.
because he's Batman. Yeah.
Because he's Batman, yeah. And after that fight, they're even like, he was holding back too and beat us. Yes.
Because he's Batman.
Exactly.
I don't know. I can't see really. I don't know. I guess you could use him in a game. I wouldn't know how to use him, but he's got some cool abilities, though.
Yeah, you would just have to go all in with AIM being your bad guys. And then with the organization AIM being the bad guys, you have what they're doing and what the organization's trying to accomplish. It's no different than if your guys are fighting Hydra.
Wow.
Similar concept, different approach.
Technically, the Turtles take place in the Marvel universe because they shared an origin with Daredevil.
Oh yeah, the vehicle crash with the radioactive material that made Daredevil blind but gave him his powers.
Yeah.
That radioactive material could have went into the sewers in New York and mutated those turtles.
It wasn't Turtles Mirage comics, though. I mean,
Yes, but we're retconning things now. We're taking these because everything's one universe. It's like my idea of every movie that an actor's in is in the same universe.
so
Because
we're
it's the same
doing.
person.
Are we doing like a giant 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon going on here, or?
Yes. So,
Yeah, Turtles was independent, wasn't it? Mirage Comics, an independent.
yes, it was.
Yeah.
But you could link the truck crash, ooze falling in sewer, mutating turtles, truck crash, Daredevil go blind, radioactive material. You could tie them together.
Which was played by Ben Affleck as Daredevil, which Ben
Oh,
Affleck starred in a movie with Kevin Bacon.
was okay. All we got to do is get Ben Affleck to one of the Ninja Turtle movies, and we're golden. Has Ben Affleck been in the movie with Kevin Nash?
I don't know.
But Kevin Nash was in Punisher.
Yeah.
So therefore, Kevin Nash was in a Ninja Turtle movie and a Marvel movie.
Oh, so Eastman Liard, how I was pronounced, intentionally tied charges with a canister that hit Murdoch in the eyes. Oh, I didn't know that they actually did that. But they were an independent company that used the Marvel. Well, Daredevil wasn't Marvel in the beginning, I guess.
No, it was.
Oh. Was it? I think there's a parody of Daredevil, Hand Ninja, Foot Clan, Teen Titans, and several other. I think he means turtles, not turtles. Or turles.
Yeah. So, yeah, because it's all, while not part of the same business, you can link them all together.
That's interesting. I never knew that they were all linked together somehow like that.
Yeah.
They never name him. Daredevil's. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So see, Ninja Turtles are now part of the Marvel universe. So now all we got to do is give them part of the Marvel cinematic universe. Kang could make it happen.
He probably could.
He could. Timey-wimey, poof. Next thing you know, we got Ninja Turtles. The Ninja Turtles are the Avengers.
No.
You get the Turtles just dressed up as different Avengers.
Spoofing it.
Yeah, Donatello's Iron Man. Well, they did make crossover WWF Ninja Turtle figures, so why not? They made crossover Ninja Turtle figures of different other brands, so it'd be in line.
Where is this information coming from? Disney might sell off Star Wars? I didn't know that was even possible of them to do that.
Yeah. It's more of who has the billions of dollars to buy it. I could see them being a little more loose with the license and just, instead of them making the movies, letting other people just license the property and make other people take the risk with the movies.
Oh, kind of like how Marvel was starting to
with Netflix and that type of thing.
No, with the comic books that they were starting to source out to like IDW and stuff like that. They took and sourced it out and
right. I mean, or like WotC's doing with like their games, like their or where Hasbro's doing with some of their IP, like with the Transformers, G.I. Joe. They've licensed out a bunch of the Avalon Hill games all to Renegade Studios. So Robo Rally's not published by Wizards of the Coast anymore. It's Renegade Studios. Same with Axis and Allies, Acquire, Diplomacy. So all those Avalon Hill games, they've licensed to Renegade. And then Hasbro, instead of having WotC make an RPG, licensed it to Renegade. Same with G.I. Joe. Even though I know Hasbro at one point did have a Transformer RPG. Prior to them buying WotC, they had bought the license to one, but shortly thereafter, they bought WotC, and WotC killed it because it wasn't one of their creations.
But they allowed the Essence 20 version of it that's out right now. They allowed the G.I. Joe role-playing game, the Essence 20, whatever it's called, as well.
Yeah, I mean, Hasbro is also, when it comes to other people doing things with their stuff, is a lot more lenient than like TSR and WotC were. So they were always more open to other people playing with their toys. So, and that's basically what's happening now. And it just seems like a lot of, if it's not D&D and it's not Magic the Gathering, WotC isn't doing it. So Hasbro's just having other people do it.
There you go. There's the answer right there. For Hasbro just likes other people making the money.
Yeah, exactly. Why make the product and take the risk if you could have someone else just write you a check?
Well, Hasbro did hold all their licenses from IDW Comics now, so.
Yeah. I wonder if they're trying to shop them around.
They already have a G.I. Joe person already, the one that did Walking Dead, Kirkman.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have no idea if Halma is going to be with them or not, but I would assume he's part of the process.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'm I follow him on Facebook, and I haven't seen him post anything about it. But at this point, it's all probably early enough that there's still either things being worked out or it's NDAs.
Yeah, he has to be involved some way, somehow. Otherwise, you get the idiots at IDW that wrote the other GI Joe comic of GI Joe, the anti-American heroes, and the Scarlet hero, or Scarlet's the 2-issue series called Scarlet Strike Force or whatever it was, where
Yeah,
Scarlet hated men, and it lasted all of 1 issue. By the time the 2nd issue was ready to print, they canceled it because it was that bad.
yeah, yeah. For Hasbro to pull a plug like that, it has to be bad because they're very much just like do whatever, license it out.
Valor Knights and the Electro Cube Wars unlicensed transforms. The Essence is by Renegade, licensed by Bro. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into that Essence system that Renegades put out.
I hear a lot of people saying it's just awful, but I don't know. I know Captain Frost has one of the 2 games, and he was telling me it wasn't that great.
Yeah, that from someone I know that does contract work, gets with Hasbro. He even told me is like, yeah, it's kind of a mess what Renegade's doing with the stuff.
But did they just introduce another game too, of another major license? I just saw it.
Because they got Power Rangers, they got GI Joe, they got Transformers.
Ever wonder what? Yeah, they don't have Wizards of the Case. Yeah, because they're going to destroy it like they did with everything else. Wizards of the Coast has not been the same since was it Atkinson? What was it, Peter Atkinson sold the company?
Well, Peter Atkinson sold the company in 2003.
Yeah.
Or 2002. And then basically with Wizards, it's like Hasbro's kind of hands off and kind of let them do their own thing. But it's just the way the company evolved is at times Hasbro has to step in and protect Wizards of the Coast from themselves because they do really dumb shit.
Henceforth, the OGL 1.2 or whatever it was.
Yeah, because it's like the person I know who said that works more on the Hasbro end told me that I've seen multiple copies of the OGL drafts. Never saw that one. And the people I know at Hasbro haven't.
Well, Rick Grayson's saying that we should take a look at it because one of his good friends worked on it. It's not a bad system at all. I'm not banging on it. I'm just saying what I was told. It wasn't a great system.
Yeah, and it could even just be what the people were expecting out of that game. Like the only feedback I heard is from the person that sold Hasbro their Transformers RPG back in the day. So he's already got an opinion on what a Transformers RPG should be. But yeah, I like my gaming group. I know we have a copy of the GI Joe RPG floating in it, and I'm interested to see what you do with the Transformers RPG. So, and it could just be like with the Renegade games. Like I have Kids on Bike, which is basically Stranger Things the RPG, and it's more of that game's more storytelling narrative, than like your stat based game. But a stat based game around Stranger Things would be a little weird anyway. You're paying kids. So it's different. And I think maybe that's why some people are getting turned off because it's going to be different.
I would definitely pick up the GI Joe game or the Transformers game if it wasn't $55 fucking for the book, and it's not selling for anything less. So I'm not paying $55 for the book. So even on Amazon, it's still pretty pricey.
Yeah, I picked up the GI Joe deck builder. That's actually fun. I enjoy that.
Yeah, but you like
it plays really well solo.
Games and board games and all those other things that we don't like in role playing games. So
yeah,
always been the type to like those games. So
yeah,
he read this. Malcolm read the system. It's okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's something I'm sure at some point I'll check out because it's in my wheelhouse of something that I would like, and maybe at some point it'll pop up at like half price or something like that, or I'll be at a con and just be like, I'm just going to bite the bullet and buy it because they also got some really sweet miniatures for the system
Oh,
out too. Like they just released Sergeant Slaughter,
oh, hmm.
uh, so there's something to it.
I would love
So
to play in a GI Joe game. I mean, I have the J Libby version of it with the fusion blocks that he made I don't know how many years ago, and played that. I've also used FASERIP to tie things back together here
mhm.
for play GI Joe and Transformers because of that website that has all things written up for it.
Yeah. There's a link to the Sergeant Slaughter pack they just released. That's a pre-order right now.
Like Elf Bay. Let me get that up on the screen for everybody saying he's not the only one. We all made GI Joe because that's most of us grew up watching that. So why
Oh
not
yeah.
want to play GI Joe? Oh, okay. So here's the Sergeant Slaughter pack. Let me get that on screen here. Stop sharing. Share. Chrome tab. Nope, doesn't want to work. Well, we'll try that again here. And Sergeant Slaughter. I loved when Sergeant Slaughter was part of GI Joe.
Yep. Hey, that's what got him fired from WWF back in the 80s and why he ended up in the AWA, the GI Joe deal. He
Did
wanted
GI
to
Joe
strike
got fired?
that's why he left. They wouldn't let him do it. It
Ah,
was either you get the GI Joe because he wanted to have the deal with Hasbro and be a GI Joe and all that by himself. And that was his deal. Vince didn't want him doing that on his own.
oh yeah, because the WWF did not get any money from it.
Exactly. So he left to be able to do the deal. And that's why he was in the AWA and during
I mean, every time I see this game, I'm just like, I want this game. But every time I go to look for how much it is, it's just I can't fathom paying that amount for it.
yeah. I really think the price is what it is because there's a licensing fee built into it because I'm sure it's not super cheap to get GI Joe or Transformers license.
No, I would doubt it's probably
So that
expensive. I don't
so
know
if,
how IDW have afforded it for that long. They're not really that big of a company that's been going under really badly. So
yeah. Well, also depending on when they got it, it could have been a much different universe.
let's see what they're selling for right now because I haven't checked it in a little while. Choose your store location. Yeah, USA, America. Got it. GI Joe. Here we are. That's the deck building game. Here's the role playing game. Let's order now. Nope. I clicked order now. Why does it keep going back up there? What is it doing? Okay. I'll click on the link then. We'll try that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's still $55.
Yeah. And they also got a nice miniature set too. It's 55 as well. Comes with a bunch of minis of the
Ooh,
Joes.
a limited edition core book for the same price? That's usually limited edition books are more expensive. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So did they base this game since Rick is here in chat, Rick Grayson? So did they base this game off the actual comic books or the cartoon more so? Because it looks like more cartoony drawing than comic book drawing to me. Yeah, Technohall 13. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we get a quick view of it. Get any page looks?
Yeah. Yeah, because when I've thumbed through the GI Joe book, and the production value is really nice. Same with the deck building game.
So
Renegade
is
makes
it
quality stuff.
essentially D&D 5e but just changed?
No, it's its own thing, but it's not like a OGL. It's their own system
So what is it built on?
because it's the essence. system, and because they put
The
Stephen
Essence
Watson put in
system.
chat. It's like they have four stats: strength, speed, smart, social.
Mm-hmm.
So it's based off that, and that's really all I know about it.
Is it actually rolling stuff, or is it one of those?
Yeah, you're rolling stuff because you, and I know that because you can buy G.I. Joe dice.
I just didn't want it to be like, remember Marvel Heroic for Margaret Weiss games? How it was, you had dice, but it really didn't matter because you were really telling a story, and it was all that other bull crap.
And you're like had PowerPoints and
Yeah,
it's
you
like
were rolling dice, but only if you explained it. I was just like, no, this is just dumb. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a D20 based system. So
Okay.
you're using a D20, but it's different because you just have your 4 skills. Here, I'll post this in chat. It's like an introduction when they brought out the Essence system. If someone in chat actually knows more about it, feel free to impart your knowledge because you can teach us things here.
Yes, we want to learn things today on this show.
Right. We are not the closed-minded grognards we may appear to be. We are actually open to trying new things.
We're not like some other podcast that broadcasts tonight. So, Essence role playing system is an upcoming role playing game. Blah, blah, blah. I always thought this was a D20 system based on because maybe it's a take ranging from 2D, a D2 to D20. So it's kind of like a Savage Worlds thing.
Yeah, it's like 4 stats, pretty light game. What chat's saying. So it's probably like a rules light 4 stat system. So it probably would flow pretty quick.
Yeah, strength, smart, special, social. So it's kind of like a Savage Worlds type thing, but just probably a little bit better, quicker.
Yeah. Less fiddly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If it was cheaper, I would buy it. And I don't like PDFs, so I just don't like PDFs.
This would be the sort of thing I think would be ideal. Go to a con where someone's running it and just hop in a con game just to see how it plays.
Okay, so you roll D20 and a skill die. If you use one unskilled, you have a disadvantage. So then you would roll the... Huh? I have to read this now. I'll just put it on my list for Amazon or something, or eBay, and have like a little alert thing for wherever it goes down.
Yeah.
It eventually got to go down in price. So
yeah, there might even be like some play videos or something on YouTube, so we can watch someone's actual play of it. We were talking about earlier.
Yay!
Maybe they'll be cosplaying as Joes, and like the whoever's running the game will have like either the Cobra Commander helmet or Destro helmet on.
Oh God.
Hey, if you're doing a visual YouTube, you got to go all in. Might as well LARP it.
That's true. You might as well LARP it. You're right. I think the best cosplay was probably the Cold Slither video. You ever see that? Live action Cold Slither?
No.
Oh God, you're in for a treat then.
Yeah, I just remember the old, I think it was Funny or Die. They did the G.I. Joe music video.
The Cold Slither. Let's see if they actually could play this. Can you hear it?
Yep.
Baroness, explain Operation Cold Slither to our friend.
We have designed a program to create rock and roll music and insert subliminal messages to lull people into a trance and make them slaves of Cobra!
Cobra!
Of course, I have to pause it because if you're doing a reaction video, you can't actually play the whole thing straight.
Yes. But, oh no, that's fantastic.
Union rules specifically state that.
They tried to copy the
How much
actual...
longer are we going to be doing this? Yeah.
They tried to copy the actual cartoon episode. Let me just get to the scene.
Just until we get paid.
I need a chocolate covered donut.
Action!
We're cold. you'll be joining us soon. A fight the vipers, playing our tune.
Well, you get the idea because you probably saw the G.I. Joe episode, but that's the
Yep.
best cosplay I've ever seen for G.I. Joe doing that. So, all right. I think we've dragged this on long enough and killed everybody now at this point.
Yes.
Dead.
How many IPs were we able to touch on in just one single episode? We
90
pretty much
minutes, 75 different IPs.
yes. And all of them are possible if you run your game with Kang as your main villain.
Matt,
Because-
wrapping it back together. There we go.
It all comes full circle. This
Yep.
episode was brought to you by the letter K for Kang the Conqueror.
Don't forget to check out your local store and buy the Kang cereal because that's going to be happening next too.
Oh, yeah.
Crunchy
Kang
Kang Flakes. There it is. Good night.